Hello and welcome to another episode of Comic Breakers, where we break down and review all things comic booky. I am your first host, Nolan Venoy.
And I am your second host, which means that I am the next in line for the throne, Brian Stork.
And I'm your guest host, one-time only offer, Lauren Cook.
One-time only offer.
Who is actually...
That was a threat, yes.
Yeah. Damn. Who is actually on the throne right now.
Yeah.
Whenever a guest comes in, they take the throne violently.
I still have the certificate to the throne, but I am not on the throne currently. She's sitting in my chair.
She's sitting in your chair.
Yeah.
And you're too polite to mention that.
I feel a little awkward about bringing it up, but here's my chair.
You only exist because I allow it. You're only here because I brutal. Will it to be so.
How? Yeah. Well, Lauren, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us
your hopes and dreams and your fondest wishes.
My dreams and fondest wishes, that would take a long time. I'm a screenwriting student currently. I am a long-suffering Hawkeye fan.
Yeah, you have been suffering.
I am. Hopefully, this December, Disney Plus is going to put me out of my misery.
You can't come back for it, though, because you've already said that you will only be a guest one time on this show.
This is my one ticket offer, one time only. Yeah, if it's not good, I don't know what I'm going to do. You might never hear from me again, so...
In anything. Yeah. Not even just on this podcast.
Just in life.
No, not fair. Ever. I'm just gonna... No, not ever.
That's fair. So did we Okay. We talking news first?
Let's talk about some news.
Let's talk about a little bit of news.
Okay. All right. So one of the bigger things that came out this week was that the New Gods movie from Tom King and Ava DuVernay has been officially removed from the DC slate, along with James Wan's Aquaman Trench spinoff.
I think that was not a surprise for anyone, right. I would say.
It's definitely not a surprise
We all knew that wasn't happening about 5 years ago.
I'm actually a little bit more surprised by the Trench not being on there. The New Gods thing, I remember when the news came out in the first place, and I was like, that's one of those things that's just not going to happen. I never felt like that was really going to get off the ground, but yeah.
I was so shocked because that seems kind of like a Marvel move where they kind of reach into the bottom of the barrel and like pull out something. Right. They're like, oh, this seems really cool, but they can't even get Justice League right yet. So I don't really know why they're reaching for New Gods when they can't even get like Superman right.
I think the thing that surprised me is that they're still keeping the Green Lantern Corps writers trapped in that basement somewhere, working on it.
Now they're working on an HBO Max show.
Like they saw the Trench guys and Ava DuVernay get to like walk up into the light, like walk out of the basement, and then they were like, it's not your time yet.
They started to walk up the stairs, and then they shut the door.
Yeah, they shut the door.
Well, they even wanted, you see, Zack Snyder said he wanted Jon Stewart in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
and then he wanted Jon Stewart and Martian Manhunter, and they made him pick one. So Warner Brothers just doesn't want anything to do with Green Lantern ever.
That actually makes a lot of sense to me, because that scene in the Snyder Cut, like that reshoot scene where Bruce talks to Jon, felt really like Bruce didn't react like he was talking to an actual Martian who was standing in front of him.
He wasn't talking to anyone specifically.
Yeah, he looked like he was talking to some guy who wandered onto like his property.
I really like that scene in general, just because I'm a huge Batfleck defender. I'll out myself right now.
Oh, really?
But
okay.
That's a whole other discussion. I love me some Batfleck, but the fact that Bruce Wayne, who spends his times like dressed up as a bat beating up criminals and is the most like paranoid person on the planet, has a little Martian come to his house and he's like, hey, what's up? What's the deal with this guy?
Yeah, Jon just shows up and he's like, hello, I am as powerful as Superman and I've been here for 10 years.
Right.
Goodbye.
Now also in defense of Batfleck, he did just see Steppenwolf and a crew of silvery boxes explode the earth.
I wasn't sure if you were describing the mother boxes or the other people from Apocalypse, because they are just kind of silvery boxes.
Silvery boxes of very, very small personalities.
Yeah. Big, small person, big box.
Big box.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just don't understand. New Gods is like you said, Lauren, it's like a Marvel reach to do something that's a little obscure. Yeah. For its own movie. It's like Eternals. So my thought is like, how is that ever going to work with the sandbox that they had established? You know?
I don't know. I think that might have been the right move for them. It's just go cosmic and get away from your weird, messed up Earth.
Yeah.
And like do
Yeah, you might be
something,
right.
do something else. I don't know.
They actually had the Jon Stewart Cast as well.
Yeah. Who was it? It was
It's an actor
Who was
named
it?
Wayne T. Carr, who I've never seen before, but he's primarily a stage actor. Like Ray Fisher was primarily a stage actor before he did Cyborg.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he was well cast.
Well, now he's in the basement.
Now he's in the basement. Someday maybe he'll play Green Lantern. Highly doubt it. Next piece of news that came out this week: Russell Crowe is in Thor 4, Thor Love and Thunder.
That's a better title.
That is a better
Fun and
title.
Lunder?
Fun and Lover.
Fun and Lunder?
Four's fun.
So this was leaked.
Fantastic Fours, Fun and Lover.
John Krasinski.
Right.
Thor 4 is actually just a Fantastic Four movie in disguise.
That is a solid theory.
Solid
I
theory.
would say.
Jennifer Lawrence is playing Sue Storm, according to multiple
That's
British
the last
tabloids.
thing that we want.
That sounds incorrect.
It's
to
not.
me.
It's not true.
Okay.
The source is non-existent. No. So Russell Crowe is going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right.
This was a leak, and I have a theory about who he is.
Yeah, I love this theory.
I think that Russell Crowe is going to be so we have Matt Damon as Theater Loki,
Right.
and we have Luke Hemsworth as Theater Thor.
Yeah.
Sam Neill is Theater Odin. I think Russell Crowe is Theater Thanos.
Yeah.
And I think that would
Oh
be
my
amazing.
gosh.
And let me.
Have you've seen Melissa McCarthy as Theater Hella, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I did
no,
see
that's
that.
right.
Yes.
I saw her in costume. There's a picture of her in costume, and it's
Yes.
hilarious.
I think
that would be so funny.
I think that is the greatest. If that's true, that would be the greatest casting in the history of casting.
Yeah.
Because Russell Crowe himself does feel to me like a struggling actor from Asgard who thinks he can make it better on Earth.
He's a struggling actor from Asgard who's trying to make it in Hollywood.
Right, and he just thinks that everyone will naturally realize that he is the greatest actor in Midgard because he is an Asgardian, like, meh actor.
Right. But as were many people in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was displaced by the blip, so he had to go back to Asgard, and now he's working on stage in Asgard again.
Right.
Yeah. Playing the role of Thanos.
Well, Asgard doesn't actually, like, I guess in New Asgard, like, where is that? Like, Norway or something?
Yeah.
I think it's Norway.
Because Asgard doesn't, like, exist anymore, so.
He comes
Asberg.
he comes back to the rubble that once was Asgard.
Where'd they go? Where'd they all go? Do y'all... Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel like at one point in time Russell Crowe could have played a good Thanos?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about Gladiator days.
Yeah.
He's got the kind of voice for it. The
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
definitely
like,
got the voice.
you know?
Right.
I
I'm
feel like
sorry,
he
Russell
could've
Crowe,
done
for
it.
that poor imitation, but
I feel like he would have taken it in like a gravelly English direction that I think would have been fine.
Yeah, I don't think I ever have read Thanos in that voice,
No.
though. You know?
No.
Yeah.
He would have sounded like Steppenwolf.
And now it's hard for me to not read it in the Josh Brolin voice.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's the perfect voice.
Yeah.
I think Steppenwolf is a good. I think Steppenwolf is much more of a sort of classy British villain, if that makes any sense, rather than
Yeah.
Thanos.
That's why you
So
cast,
I think
That's why you cast Syrian Hines, who's actually, I think, in the Snyder Cut's really good in Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
He is
kind
really
eyes.
Yeah, actually, there was a bunch of stuff going around on Twitter about how Steppenwolf is really cute.
They put a new filter on his voice.
Yeah,
so he sounds,
they did. They made him.
sounds,
Okay, well, this is something Brian and I have talked about, but like all of the new gods in Zack Snyder's Justice League have comically deep voices.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, they all sound exactly the same.
Right.
Yes.
There's in that one trailer where it's like Steppenwolf talking and then Darkseid talking and maybe also Desaad talking.
Right.
It's impossible to
Right.
tell who's speaking.
I just want to
I
know what
would
Granny
not-
Goodness sounded like.
Yeah.
No, I would not be shocked at all if they just revealed that Syrian Hines voiced all of them. Like, he was Darkseid, he was
That's the greatest trick of all.
Steppenwolf. He's like, they didn't have the time or the money to hire new actors, so they just put him in there, like, to voice all of them.
Have you guys seen that that image of Granny Goodness that Zack Snyder put out? It's like the full kind of
Oh, yeah, the full
image
artwork.
of
Yeah.
what she looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
She looks like her voice would be boring.
Right.
I
I mean,
feel-
she kind of just looks like your lesbian aunt. Like, that's
Which
what
is
she
great.
looks like to me.
But I feel like, yeah, I like, because Granny Goodness, the fun of her is that she's like, Granny loves you.
And that was
not going to be.
never going to be a thing. It would be.
When are we going to introduce Jane Lynch as Granny Goodness in the DCEU?
Oh,
yeah.
that's a lot of fun. I like that idea a lot.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Restore the Snyderverse so that we can have
Restore the Snyderverse so we can recast Granny Goodness as Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
The artwork does kind of look like Jane Lynch, I will say.
It does. She's got the hair and the scowl.
I'm going to play a granny that is so goodness.
We gotta talk about the show.
Now back on
point,
Russell
right?
Crowe. Do we think that Russell Crowe's last great role was going to be Jor-El?
I think that he thinks every role he does is going to be his last great role. Dr. Henry Jekyll, this will define me.
Russell Crowe isn't doing anything right now except bullying people on Twitter who make fun of Master and Commander. Like, that's what he's doing right now. Like, and God bless him. I love Master and Commander. But like,
Oh my god. So last piece of news.
Okay.
This is the one I was reading this before we started recording, and I just couldn't quite understand how it's a thing. Black Widow movie reportedly adds Bond girl Olga Kurylenko. It's an actor named Olga Kurylenko.
Uh-huh.
And I my thing is this movie has been done for about a year and a half
for
now.
a good long while.
they
I
added the
would
nightmare
say.
scene to the end.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a reshoot thing that they did very recently.
Which Bond
Yeah,
movie is she?
I was gonna ask, which one is
Yeah.
she?
I think she's in Quantum of Solace.
Ooh,
Yeah,
classic.
I can't keep
Quantum
anything
of Solace.
straight.
She's in Quantum of Solace. I haven't seen her in anything since that movie.
Is she the one who gets covered in oil, or the one who doesn't get covered in oil?
I think she might be the one that gets covered in oil.
Classic.
Please correct us in the comments if you care about the movie Quantum of
That's
Solace.
the one acceptable comment on this video is did she or did she not get covered in oil in Quantum of Solace?
Right. My question is,
Just answer yes or no. No context.
so has she been in it all along and we're just now finding out about it, which is sometimes how these casting things happen?
Yeah.
Or have they added something in reshoots because it's coming out later in the slate than it initially was?
I think that would be really interesting if it was something that was like later in the slate that they realized like, oh, we can put a little hint in here now.
Yeah.
If we want
Is
to.
there any information or leaks or theories as to who she's playing?
This came out 4 hours ago.
Okay,
Oh,
well then never
yeah.
mind.
Yeah. So
So by the time this episode comes out,
This
there
came
we'll
out- there
already
will
know
be,
we'll
yeah.
already know who she is.
So please, again, yell at us in the comments about
already know
Olga
she's-
Kurylenko.
We'll already know she's playing Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing
She's
Jane
Granny
Lynch,
Goodness.
who's playing Granny Goodness.
Yes, exactly. In Thor 4.
In Thor 4.
Fantastic floor.
Fantastic floors. But yeah, that's the news. That's the news.
That's all the news that's fit to talk about on this podcast.
Yep.
And now it's time to talk about Falcon Winter Soldier.
It is time to talk about Falcon Winter Soldier.
Episode
three.
Episode 3.
We're halfway through.
Is it only 6 episodes?
Yeah, it's only 6. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. It's the thing that just to start off talking generally, I think this is a good episode. I have some major issues with this episode.
Yeah.
And I have some information about this episode
Oh.
that'll be interesting once we get into spoiler talk. But this series, and I don't mean this as a negative, it doesn't it's not like a drug in the way that WandaVision is like a drug.
Yeah.
Of like, you've just got to get to the next Friday and you've got to
Yeah.
get that dose of WandaVision in. It's more so like, oh, sweet, I get to watch Falcon Winter Soldier. But it's not like dominating my head of like, God, when am I going to get to watch WandaVision again? Like,
This was the first episode of the show where, and I mean, look, we talked about before in the kind of lead up to this that the marketing for this show felt like the marketing for Hobbs and Shaw for some reason,
my
where it was just
gosh.
this like very kind of turn your brain off action stuff.
Right.
And then last episode, with the like Isaiah Bradley stuff, it felt like, okay, this is moving in a much more interesting direction. This episode to me felt the most like turn your brain off Hobbs and Shaw vibes.
because I think plot wise, there's so much like that just kind of gets brushed over by big action.
I think this was an episode where I felt the kind of tension of stretching like a 2-hour actual action movie into 6 hours.
Right.
Where like I was like, oh, this is stuff that we shouldn't be able to theorize about for a week.
Right,
You
yeah,
know, like this is the kind of thing where like we should get an answer like a half hour from now.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to
yeah.
watch Sharon Carter beat up people in a wherever they were for
I
like
loved
30
that.
minutes?
That was great.
I know, there's a
thought
lot of
that
stuff
was
I love in this
awesome, but I
episode.
agree.
But
You must mean Sharon 13. Her last name is 13.
Oh, sorry. It's Agent 13. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how, like, almost anti-superhero this show is. It's like, it seems... I mean, like, they didn't suit up once. I mean, I guess Bucky's technically are always suited up. But, like, there was no Falcon in this episode.
True.
I mean, they just kind of were running around as themselves. They keep talking about how, you know, Sharon says something about how, like, the Captain America's not real and, like, the shield isn't real. It's all just made up. And they keep talking, like, Zemo's whole thing is he wants to get rid of super soldiers because they just cause a bunch of damage. And it's like, I mean, he's got a point. I mean, he has points.
Hashtag Zemo did nothing wrong.
Zemo did so many things
hashtag free Zemo. But I think it's interesting just how much it almost doesn't even want to be a superhero show. It just wants to be like an action, adventure, thriller, buddy, whatever comedy show.
Yeah.
And like I finished the episode and I'm like, oh, this is a Marvel show? Okay.
Right.
There is
You know,
the only one who gets to suit up in this episode is Zemo.
Right. And he also he does it like it's his secret kink that he doesn't want people to know about.
He does. He grabs the mask like he's a little like, oh, they can't know about this mask I have.
And then he like takes it off before anyone really gets to notice him, but like they see him and he doesn't realize that they see him. I think he secretly wants to be a superhero. Or he wants to be like Bucky, and I don't really think this, but like
it is weird that he'd choose to wear a mask just in general. I mean, I like the mask.
I think that's going to be a major plot point, that there's definitely a reason for that mask. I don't think they're going to physically scar him like Zemo in the comics, but
well, I want to know if that mask is so important to him, why he left it in the trunk of his car.
Or just on the dash. Not even in the trunk.
Yeah,
it was on the dash.
View. In full view. We're starting to get into spoiler territory.
At this point, we're reviewing episode 3 of a series. All
right.
If you want to know if you should watch episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
You were sold on episode 1 and 2, but you're like, should I keep going?
Yeah, do it. Watch
it.
You're
on a YouTube video about it. A YouTube video with probably about 12 views about it.
You sat through so much news to get here.
Yeah. I think this episode's good. I think where it really lacks for me is the Taskmasters. I don't know necessarily what it is, but they're not working for me.
Yeah, I think it's because it's too hard to understand what the timeline of them is, what their actual goal is. I think you can put it together if you like think about it. But like, I think
but don't think about it.
But don't think about it, because if you think about it too much, then it doesn't really make sense.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's definitely the weakest part for me now.
The chick from Solo is easily the least interesting part of the whole thing.
And I think the thing that's frustrating about it is the show is like kind of telling us that like she's the interesting part, and I like her as an actor, I really do. But the show is like trying to tell us to care about her. When I see these scenes with Isaiah Bradley and the therapy scenes with Bucky, I'm like all in. I'm all in for it. But,
and anything about like Sam struggling against taking the shield and
all of that is really wonderful. And I also think all the Zemo stuff is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I just haven't gotten a reason to like this character and be interested in spending time with her.
It is such a weird choice to... So there's that scene... I think there's like 3 scenes with her in this that are like progressively weird. Or 3 scenes about her.
Right.
And there's the first one where she's going to kind of say goodbye.
Let's ask Lauren, what did you think that was about? Like, because we had to sit and talk about it for about 10 minutes to try to figure out what we thought was going on.
The scene with the woman with the
Danya, I don't remember her name.
Yes.
Yes. That was bizarre. I really, I took it to mean it's some like person, I don't know, like her mother or something that like means a lot to her, and then dies.
Maybe.
Well, definitely did die. Died off screen, but definitely did die.
Right, because they say, do you want to take time to mourn in the third scene of this weird trilogy of bad scenes?
Then they get a phone. I think someone gets a phone call when they're on the plane, and I don't remember which.
That she,
they said that
Sam,
she just died. Yeah.
So, okay, so we were talking about it, and we were pretty sure that she's like maybe her teacher and not actually her mother.
Right, because she's talking about wanting to be a teacher.
Yeah. She's for sure supposed to be some sort of like motivation in order to, get the serum and then, create some sort of army of whatever. But I'm not sure. I did feel like I was watching that scene and I was like, I feel like I missed 2 episodes.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
no,
I don't know why they're making it kind of a mystery who this person is, because it seems like it's going to be a very simple answer,
right?
Or that we're supposed to have already gotten it,
right?
And maybe like when I was watching it, I just thought I was dumb, or yesterday I got the vaccine. I thought maybe I had vaccine sickness in my brain,
right?
So like I didn't know what was going on,
yeah.
But like the fact that you guys also weren't sure about what was happening here is strengthening my position that this did not work, because it's like because that scene where she's saying goodbye to her and she's got the pendant, the symbol that I don't think have seen yet. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it looked like a new. Well, here's realization.
Yeah. Okay, go forth.
It's a hand with a globe in it.
So
it's similar to the Flag Smasher logo.
Yes. So maybe that's supposed to indicate that's where it came from?
Maybe. Yeah, okay, so here's something that so Brian and I ended up on this page of like Carly must have been displaced and ended up in one of these camps, and this woman was probably there as some form of teacher, mother-like figure.
Because they do call her Mama Danya, but she says that like in a plural. Like there's other people who are.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you call your own mom that.
Right.
You don't call your mom Mama Danya?
I mean, I do, but not in general.
Yeah. Brian specifically does.
Yeah.
Brian specifically doesn't.
So I wonder if maybe just that sort of teacherly, motherly kind of thing is where the philosophy that Carly and Co, the philosophy that they're fighting for. I wonder if that's maybe where it comes from, and she's their inspiration in a way.
But it seems like she also met that dude in Madripoor, not back at the
that is true,
at the camp with the teacher and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So they all had. Gosh. It's so conspicuous that it like has to be it's either some 6th episode reveal that like slaps you across the face and it all makes sense now, or it's just a major weak spot.
Even if
Mama Danya and Mephisto confirmed?
Confirmed.
Even if in episode 6 we find out that Mama Danya is in fact Mephisto, Reed Richards, aka
Mead Mitchards.
Theater Hella.
Yeah.
Then
Ralph Boner as well.
Ralph Boner as Theater Hella.
Then even then, it's still a failure of the show, because the scene where she's saying goodbye to her is supposed to be affecting, and you can tell that from the way it's shot and the way the music is, and the scenes with her that follow it, where we're supposed to be like, "Ooh, is this person good or not?" Like, I'm not sure.
I just think the show is trying really hard to create a lot of complex characters and trying to make you care about all of them, even the villain. Like they're trying to pull a Thanos on us, where they're like, he's so complex and you kind of understand where he's coming from, so you kind of like him in the same way. Like they're trying to do that with John Walker. They're trying to do that. I guess they're trying to do it with.
It feels like they're trying to make her like Killmonger-esque.
Well, she even does have the same plan as Thanos, it seems,
in a way,
to release some kind of thing to get it back to how it was during the blip. But new Thanos is. But that scene feels like if you saw like the murder of the Waynes, but like you didn't know who they were, but like you didn't know who they were, and you didn't know what their relationship was to this kid who looks sad and has a pendant.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it either. I feel, as I watch this, I'm starting to feel though like the Flag Smasher stuff is actually going to resolve sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
I don't think this is going to be the end game.
Nice reference.
Show.
I would clap, but I'm holding my mic.
Yeah, that's true. Please don't clap.
I'll clap. I'll just slap the mic. Yeah. Every time you make a point that I agree with, I'll just slap the mic.
I feel, as I say this now, I'm feeling like I'm wrong.
Okay.
But
well, it's not like it's being recorded or anything.
Yeah. there's something in the energy of this that feels like this Flag Smasher stuff is maybe not like a red herring, but is definitely like actually going to be like our B-level villain.
Yeah.
Am I
well,
wrong?
they definitely haven't made the effort to make them interesting.
That's true.
So I kind of, and I mean, look, we've had that once already, where a bunch of super soldiers show up and actually have nothing to do with anything.
Right.
And it was Zemo
I also
that
understand
time
that reference.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely trying to set up like John Walker / Captain America / U.S. agent / whoever he is as kind of the main. I definitely agree. The Flag Smashers very much seem like a red herring. Because I mean, they were in this episode for what, like 2 minutes? Like,
and they were the worst 2 minutes.
Yeah, very much the worst 2 minutes.
All of their scenes, maybe, well, definitely the last scene. I said this to Brian, that it felt like a reshoot scene. It felt like, here's all the things you need to know about us, and you're gonna learn them right now.
Which actually ended up making us more confused.
Right? Yeah, it made it worse.
It felt sort of like, oh my gosh, we forgot the bad guys, and they went back and wrote like a quick scene between Carly and whoever the other guy was.
You know what it might be? It might be that all of this was supposed to feel more like vague and like kind of montagey on purpose, because they're supposed to be more of a feeling than like a specific antagonist, and then I know, but then the note was, we're too confused about what exactly is going on with these people, so they go back and try to add specificity, but in doing that, reveal that it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Well, here's something interesting that can probably tie into what we're talking about. I read an interview with Kari Skogland, who was basically who's the director of the whole show, and she was talking about how the notes process works at Marvel Studios. And basically you'll send a draft, and Kevin will specifically himself send you a like long single spaced just bunch of notes for it. And so they'll start off with some positives, and then you'll get all the stuff that they want you to change. And this episode 3, they went through the most drafts, the most changes, had the most notes on this episode specifically.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah,
you can
and
feel it.
I feel that definitely.
I love how we're on a first name basis with Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of ours. I mean, he's
friend
on
of the show.
He's on every episode of the show. If you actually look in the Zoom link, you think that's a clock behind Nolan? That's actually a mask being worn by Kevin Feige himself.
It's Kevin Feige. Zack Snyder's Kevin Feige. Let's talk about John Walker.
Yeah.
What do we think about John Walker? I think John Walker really shows his true colors in this episode, and I like it a lot.
I love that
He's
he
going
doesn't
crazy.
speak. I love that he doesn't speak German.
Yeah.
I think that's great. It's
one thing Captain America needs to do.
Yeah. And, there's the whole, do you know who I am? It's exactly what we think it is.
Yeah.
He seemed much more unhinged in this episode. Like, I was on at the beginning of the last episode, I was on board of like, hey, maybe he's not too bad, you know? And then when you pull up the Glock in the last one, I was like, whoa, hold on a minute.
You fell for the carousel of humanization at the beginning.
I definitely, I was emotionally manipulated, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Thank you, Kevin. But
he says you're welcome.
Yeah.
I was definitely on board with the fact that like he's just a guy put in a situation where he's trying to do the right thing. I mean, he didn't know Steve personally. I mean, he didn't know him like we, the audience, knew him, or the way Bucky or Sam knew him. He was just like an idea, kind of. So it wasn't like he was trying to personally offend anybody by taking on this role. But as soon as I started this episode, I was like, oh.
Right.
Never mind. Like he's a little out there.
I'm on your page with that, where like I watched it and I didn't like him all that much, but I didn't hate him in the sense of like he's clearly a guy that I think genuinely wants to do the right thing. I don't think he always wants to do the right thing for the right reasons, and I think he has an ego problem. Yeah. Like that was my vibe from him. So I didn't hate him. But then you get to the end of the episode and he's like, then stay out of my way. And then I feel like you start to see his true colors. Then you get this episode where he's about to go off the rails.
Yeah,
I think it's also very telling that Wyatt Russell, the actor, has gone the Daisy Ridley, Millie Bobby Brown, Kelly Marie Tran way of having been bullied off of Instagram by angry Marvel fans.
Oh God, really?
Did that happen?
You didn't know about that? Yeah, he deleted his Instagram because people were not happy that he was
Jesus
playing someone who replaced a
And
beloved
they really
character.
missed the point.
That's the literal point of the character.
They really just
That's
like,
right?
Holy shit!
poor
Wow.
guy. And I think he seems like a super nice guy. Also, is the other thing. He
he
said
seems
something in
super
an
chill.
interview I think it was this morning or yesterday morning, where he said that he just thinks that John Walker wants people to love him too much. Yeah. And I think that's great. That's really good. That's a great way to look at this character.
I've always seen that character as like a bad actor. Like he's like he really wants people to love him, and he is doing everything he can to play this part. Like you talked about in the last episode, that he's got these canned lines that he's using.
That was a bad idea.
Right. And like there's the thing, like I still think that it's very telling that the first time we see him alone, he's rehearsing. Yeah. But then whenever he has to actually do something, he gets his ass kicked by the Flag Smashers. He can't speak German. He's like he's running into dead ends. Like I think that's who this guy is.
Right.
Is that he's not good enough, and he's not.
Doesn't
like,
Battlestar literally tell him like, this is why you failed drama class? Like the first time they meet.
It's like one of the that might be the first thing that Battlestar actually says in the whole show is, this is why you failed drama class.
Oh, good for Battlestar.
You think Battlestar's gonna die?
Maybe.
Here's
an idea.
Okay, yeah, no, go ahead.
I think we have the same idea.
That Wyatt Russell Cap is gonna kill Battlestar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think it's a possibility.
I think there's a good chance.
But I do think Clay Bennett is an actor that you would want to keep around in the MCU, though.
That's fair.
He's a young, good-looking.
He seems like a good guy. Like that character seems like a good guy.
Right, I agree. I think he's because he's always like kind of questioning a little bit of what he's like following John Walker's lead, but also is like, I don't know about this, John. Oh geez, I don't know about this, John.
Geez, John.
So I have a theory about what's gonna go down with John Walker.
This is full breakers right now.
Full breakers for a moment, not full breakers portion.
There's never been a defined breakers.
Yeah, sorry,
break.
there's never been I have a feeling that he's gonna lose the shield in the next episode. And I think he is going to go either to Carly, or somehow the serum is going to get away from the Flag Smashers, and he's going to take the serum.
Right.
And as we've talked about, it's going to amplify all of his bad parts. It's going to amplify some of his good parts, but he's going to be super soldier. And I think you're going to get the U.S. agent costume as well. Yeah.
Something that I forgot to mention when we talked about the first episode is that they do highlight in the Captain America Museum the original shield.
The original
triangle,
shield
the triangle
shield.
Oh,
yeah.
I think somebody's going to have to use that instead of the
cool.
regular shield. My impulse is that it's going to be Sam or Bucky, in the same way that Steve stole his old suit from the museum, and also showing, the shield doesn't make the cap.
Right.
Classic saying.
Right.
A shield is not a cap make.
But I think there's also a chance that U.S. agent is going to have to use it once
that could be interesting.
he loses the actual shield.
That shield's not as throwable.
No, not nearly as throwable.
Yeah,
Do you ever throw that?
throwable.
It's a triangle.
I actually don't think you can throw that shield.
It's also a trash shield, isn't it? Doesn't it, like, it's just
I don't
a
think
prop.
it really does anything. Yeah, I think that was that just his...
it was the shield that he taped
That's
the
just what he
lines
used
onto.
as when he was doing the shows. I don't know how durable it actually is.
What he really needs to do is he needs to get that taxi cab door back.
Yeah, it's right next to
No. He needs to go all the way back to the garbage can lid. From
Yes.
Oh, yeah, go find it. But it has to be that specific garbage can lid. None of the other ones.
Every episode they highlight a different one of them in the museum. And each time Wyatt Russell has to take the next worst one.
He just goes back to the museum, and each time there's like a Stan Lee cameo there, R.I.P. to be like, oh man, not again.
Oh god.
I am so fired.
They just use the same clip over and over again from Winter Soldier.
Zemo's in this episode.
God, it's... You know what I miss from, like... Because I don't really watch, like, Hobbs and Shaw movies anymore.
Anymore?
Oh, I watched all the Hobbs and Shaw movies back in the day.
The only one?
I mean, like I haven't gotten to watch a lot of the, like, real, like, turn your brain off action movies in a while, because that's like a theater experience, and I haven't gone to a movie theater in about 5 years. So I did enjoy Zemo being the, like, dumb movie smart guy, where he's just walking around and, like, saying things very fast that don't really mean anything.
Right, yeah.
And, like, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with Zemo in this.
They expanded his origin a good bit.
He's actually a baron.
He's actually a baron. He's very wealthy, and that he was Sokovian military who was like a Hydra hunter.
We knew part of that.
Yeah,
we knew
that
he was a Hydra hunter.
Yeah, he was a Hydra hunter. Like, he was
Okay.
obsessed with Hydra before all of the Civil War stuff, which is pretty cool.
I was just very glad to see Zemo again. Civil War is my personal favorite Marvel movie for a myriad of reasons.
That's interesting.
But
It might be for me. It's up there for me.
I thought you didn't like it that much.
What? Civil War? I love Civil War.
Maybe someone.
I like both the Guardians movies more, but Civil War is very up there for me.
Yeah, I like Civil War.
Interesting. But yes, I love Civil War very much. And I think, I mean, it's so easy to compare the two because they came out the same year and have striking similarities. But he's kind of like what they wanted to do with Lex Luthor and Batman v Superman, but just
so much more fun.
Infinitely better.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
he's kind of the man behind the curtain mastermind. I'm going to turn these people against each other for my own personal reasons.
Yeah.
But he actually has legitimate reasons rather than Lex Luthor, who wants to do it for.
Superman made him bald.
I don't know why. I've seen that movie like 4 times, and I still don't know what his motivation is. But
it's something about gods and devils.
Gods come from all
the
over
devil
the place.
come from the sky.
It has a lot. When you really think about it, it has a lot to do with piss.
It does. Mostly grandma's peach tea.
Wait, just real quick pause. Did you guys know that the original reason that Lex Luthor hates Superman is because Superboy was responsible for making him bald?
That's a lot of fun.
That's not real.
Like that.
Is that true?
No, it's real. It's real. Look it up. Superboy. There's Lex Luthor he was making the cure for kryptonite, like for Superboy, and he was like, "I've done it. I've created the cure for kryptonite." But then his lab caught fire, and Superboy had to blow it out, and the fumes made Lex lose his hair. So he was like, "I hate you, Superboy," and he threw the cure away.
That is almost as good as James McAvoy's Charles Xavier going bald in a pyramid because of Apocalypse.
A special pyramid made me bald.
Special pyramid.
Oscar Isaac himself made me bald.
The actor Oscar Isaac has balded me.
Hey, it happens to all of us, you know. It happens to us all.
I loved his
but yeah.
I loved his like Harry Osborn relationship with his old butler.
We haven't gotten an old butler in this universe yet.
We got one now.
It's great.
Yeah.
More old butlers.
All I could think was like, could you just bring us some food? That's all I could think of. It made me happy.
He was impaled by his own glider for sure.
So watching this episode, I feel even more confident that this whole that this is going to lead to a Thunderbolts team.
Yeah.
Watching Zemo, especially in this episode, like it feels like season 2 of this is a Thunderbolts show.
Yeah. Wait, Lauren, do you know the Thunderbolts?
I'm not familiar. I know of them. I'm not the most
very
familiar.
exciting, and Nolan and I have been slowly building a Thunderbolts pitch every time one of these shows comes out, because the Thunderbolts are basically just a group of supervillains. It's the Suicide Squad for Marvel.
What are we, some kind of Thunderbolts?
Exactly. But they're usually led by a superhero, like Hawkeye has led them a lot of the time.
My boy.
We have a thought, or Nolan had a thought that maybe after the Hawkeye series, Kate Bishop would become like Avengers Hawkeye, and Clint could like lead the Thunderbolts or something like that.
Right, which would be a lot of fun.
Interesting.
But U.S. Agent would be a great Thunderbolt.
U.S. Agent,
and so would Zemo.
I think Zemo. I also think you can. I think that Ghost would be awesome you'd be great to bring Ghost
from
back
Ant-Man and the Wasp
like
and the Ant-Man.
Did she die? I don't remember.
No,
she
alive.
lived.
She's alive.
Okay, she's alive.
She's alive and redeemed.
Yeah.
I also think Bucky would probably fit well into a Thunderbolts team.
Yeah, and I mean we're gonna have Deadpool by then.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Yeah.
So I feel more confident on that train. I wonder if he's gonna go a villainous route in this show at all.
I forgot who we were actually talking about. Zemo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he. I mean, look. I feel like this is the wild theorizing thing that having these shows be weekly creates, and then we get disappointed because right now, like if you went from the start of the show, I'd be like, obviously he's going to at some point turn full villain and then kind of come back around.
Right.
But now that we're 3 episodes in and I've got too much time to think about it, part of me wants him to just not go villain at all this entire season. But I think he still will. I think we're going to look dumb if we say that he's not going to go villainous.
I think they're setting up so many potential big bads. Like, you've got to end with like one big bad, right? You know, like what Agatha Harkness was for WandaVision. Like, we got to have like one big bad. But right now, there's John Walker, there's the Flag Smashers, there's Zemo, and I feel like of those three, like, Walker is the only one who I can see right now being set up as like a big bad. I mean, the Flags, like, what's her name, Carly, like, her motivation is to, I mean, she wants to free kids from like displacement camps. I mean, you can't make her a villain. Like, come on.
As far as we can gather.
Right. I had the dumbest interpretation of one of her lines. I don't know why my brain was like, this is the answer.
I love that you're outing yourself for this.
Yeah, I'm outing myself for this. For some reason, she's like, we're gonna give it to them, and she's talking about the kids in displacement camps.
we're gonna use all of our power to give it to those kids.
I thought they were talking about the fucking super soldiers.
They're just gonna run into the orphanage and start injecting kids with
serum. I spent all day today like, why the fuck would she waste that fucking serum on a bunch of 8-year-olds? That makes no sense.
Carly wants the Young Avengers so bad. She's gonna she wants them so bad.
The Young Avengers are just 8 random children who've been injected with super soldier serum.
Isn't that what Shazam is? Come on.
Basically.
And Battlestar dies, and they're all named Battlestar in honor of the dead Battlestar.
The 7 Battlestars of victory. Yeah.
Oh my
Christ. Wait, there was something real that I wanted to bring up and I don't remember now.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
No, I totally agree with you guys that John Walker is absolutely going to be the actual villain of this show. I think there's a good chance that they're going to do a bunch of work to like humanize Carly. And then like
none of it's going to work.
Well, no, I think yes. But then we'll get to a point where like Sam and Bucky are kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of see. I think we can like reform her maybe, and then John Walker's just gonna snap her neck. I think that's gonna be the thing. I think that like I think that's going to be used to show why you need a Captain America who has a heart and is like a person and like is more of an ideal than this guy is.
Right.
I think this Flag Smashers could be a way of like getting us the one step closer to this guy is the villain.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, the only interesting decision in terms of giving the show an overall bad guy is for John Walker to, and can even can function like Agatha Harkness does in WandaVision, where she's the big bad, and then suddenly, like, at the end when she's had all of her power removed from her, it'll be like, you're gonna need me at some point in time in the future. Right. And I think you can have that with John Walker as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've been saying it for years. It means so much more if he gets arrested than if he gets killed.
Yeah. You have been saying that for years.
I've been saying it for decades. Nobody knew what I was talking about.
Yes, you were insane for years.
I came out the womb and I was like, John Walker's got to get arrested. And they were like,
like, what is wrong with him? Like, what is this?
He speaks of prophecy.
There's the doctor that delivered you was named John Walker.
It's true, and they arrested him because of course
him that day.
And I became an investigative detective baby, and I could only solve cases against people whose names were John Walker.
Did we just write The Boss Baby? Is that what that movie's about?
Oh my gosh.
You know what they say is that like after a certain amount of time, like everyone accidentally writes The Boss Baby again.
That's what they do say.
Yeah,
is
humanity
that what they
keeps
say?
coming up with The Boss Baby.
They talk about that in screenwriting class, about how to avoid writing The Boss Baby.
Right, there's
that's a whole class that I'm taking now, actually. Is how not to write The Boss Baby.
You come into screenwriting class and you're just like hair disheveled. You're just like, I can't stop writing The Boss
I did
Baby.
it again. I finished my 120-page feature screenplay, and then I scroll like the title page, and it's just The Boss Baby. Like, I did it again.
Every time you look at it, The Boss Baby is in bigger font.
Interesting thing about Bucky. Let's talk about Bucky for a minute.
Oh, I love Bucky.
Bucky is one of my favorite MCU characters. That's probably a little bit of like an unpopular statement. I know a lot of people.
I like Bucky a lot.
A lot of people think Bucky's
who
like
doesn't
boring.
Bucky? I'll fight them.
I mean, Bucky's a very complex, morally gray. How do you respond to this character? I think that's great.
I don't think he could be the lead of his own movie or anything. I think because he's like too gruff and like I get it.
I think it depends on the end of this.
Okay, all right, yeah.
One of the most interesting things to me about this episode was how often, it was like 2 or 3 times, Zemo kept saying like, oh, there's something still in there. You know, he went back into that role really easily. And so I'm wondering, like, is that going to be in the future? Is there still some Winter Soldier in him that's going to, like, activate? Is he going to, I don't know, turn evil for a second and then come back like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
I wonder if it'll be... Did you guys watch... I literally keep bringing this up, like, every time that I possibly can. But did you guys ever watch Justice League Unlimited, the cartoon?
Yes.
Lauren, did you ever do that?
I did not. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's a great show, but there's a whole seasonal arc that's about whether or not Superman's going to turn evil. And we get right up to the point where it looks like he's about to, like, incinerate. I guess spoilers for Justice League Unlimited.
For a show that came out 20 years ago.
It's not 20. Oh my god. I don't want to think about it. But it looks like he's about to incinerate Lex Luthor, and then he doesn't. And I think that's going to be the thing with all of this buildup of Bucky being, is he actually still a murderer? And, like, is he still going to... I think that we're going to reach a point where it looks like he's about to go bad. Sam's going to know that he isn't. And then it's going to be a flip. And he's actually, like, playing a ruse or doing something like that.
I think that's a good thought. I mean, we've seen that thing in the trailer of him aiming a gun at somebody and then dropping all the bullets out of the gun.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that could definitely be a thing.
And I think Sam's going to get it based on some little visual cue that they develop from being good friends.
Yeah.
Aww.
I can't wait for them to be good friends. This is a very Bucky-centric episode, I think.
Yeah.
I think Bucky is a little disserviced in episode 2, and that they kind of make him look dumb, and he kind of gets his ass kicked. And in this, like, he pulls the Winter Soldier out, and the fact that he's, like, beats the shit out of everybody.
And everyone in Madripoor is terrified of him.
And he's also very smart.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think that ever has been focused on in terms of Bucky, but his whole, like, ruse of getting Zemo out of prison is, like, the smart man's way of getting Zemo out of prison.
Yeah. Well, the smart man in a dumb movie is
exactly.
Way of
That's what I was about to say.
It's
in a dumb movie, but I loved Bucky in this episode. I want more therapy scenes with him.
Yeah.
I really hope that comes back.
Do you want to check in with me about whether or not I still think... Here's my most insane theory. Lauren, see if you believe me. No one believes me.
All right.
Just like they didn't believe you about John Walker being arrested.
I didn't believe you about John Walker. I am fucking positive, and I still am, that Bucky's therapist is going to turn out to be, if not a flag smasher, some kind of villain.
Thing.
Some kind of villain.
I hope not. I hope
not. Listen. Here's my thing, right? There's just every episode there's going to be more guests on here to yell at me about my terrible theory. Okay, here's the thing. We got backstory from her about how she used to be a soldier and that she knows how seeing, like, horrible things can shut you down and stuff, right?
Right.
Also, this show seems to be heading us in the direction of thinking that Bucky is going to go murdery again, but he actually doesn't. And I think if his actual therapist is a part of that, it could push you further that way.
You're a sick boy.
Look.
Give my man a break. Please send him back to Wakanda or something.
Well,
give him a break.
That's
Speaking
something
of
we
Wakanda,
haven't talked about yet.
I, like, jokingly brought it up to you before the episode started. I was like, you think Wakanda's going to be involved with this? I don't even know if you heard me.
Well, no, I even mentioned during that amazing ad for the whatever that thing is, the GRC, where they showed all the flags. I was like, is the Wakandan flag in there? No,
I don't know what
think
the
so.
Wakandan
Probably
flag
not.
looks like.
I was like, no, probably not. Yeah. and then the actual Wakandan showed up at the end.
I wanted it to be Shuri so bad. As soon as I saw the little bead, I thought it was going to be Shuri. I thought it was going to turn around and be Shuri. And then
I wonder why it wasn't.
I think the use of Io is a good choice, but I think it would have been really cool is if it was Nakia.
Yeah. We haven't seen in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Could they have gotten Lupita Nyong'o for this? I don't know.
That's a fair point.
That's true.
That's a fair point.
I feel like the Wakanda thing is gonna resolve pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This to me felt like it felt like when in Ant-Man, you know, when Ant-Man goes to the Avengers compound and he meets Falcon, it feels like this is the biggest one we could get. Like, this is the biggest Avenger we could get for this, like, 3-minute scene. Right. That's what I felt like. Like, this is a Wakandan who's, like, recognizable. It's like, oh, I know her.
Yeah.
But not like Okoye, Nakia levels of
that's fair.
Character.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, and I think we'll get one fun action scene with her.
Yeah.
And then she'll probably be on her way.
Yeah. One small thing. They talk about how Sokovia, how after it fell, all of the surrounding countries sort of leached in
And, like,
upon it,
warlords and
then
stuff,
like
and-
now Sokovia doesn't exist, and it's just a bunch of different countries. But there's like a memorial. I know they're going to the memorial because there's just a shot of it in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
You think we get a Latveria reference?
I think there be a really good chance of that.
Darby Latveria.
Have we even seen? Has there ever been a situation where we've seen a world map with like a circle on it that's somewhere in Eastern Europe that could be Latveria? I know we've had that for Atlantis and Wakanda, like in Iron Man 2. I wonder if there's ever been a little circle on somewhere in Eastern Europe where Latveria could be, because it should exist already. Right?
No, because it was a Fox property and they wouldn't legally.
Well, no, but I mean they did it with Atlantis where they didn't like say what it was. They just put like a circle on it.
Maybe.
Which Eastern European country are we sacrificing for Latveria?
Which
one are we wiping out?
I mean, it's gotta be. Let's see. Hey Nolan, what's the least important European country? What's the worst one?
There's no room to offend anyone.
Yeah,
here.
no, I'm just
no
real quick
worries
asking,
at all. Just pick the least important.
Yeah. Just the worst,
European
worst European nation. Real quick.
We were already there. No one talks about Latvia or Lithuania.
You actually brought up two countries.
or Estonia.
You gave us
Nobody
two,
talks about Estonia.
This video is gonna get comment bombed and dislike bombed by.
I'm not saying they're bad countries.
Look.
I'm not disclaimer. I'm just saying no one ever talks about them.
Look, the ComicBreakers podcast is a friend to Marvel Studios and the Disney Entertainment Empire, and an enemy to Estonia.
False. I am a friend to all Estonians. If you're Estonian out there, I love you.
Okay.
That was beautiful.
That was good. That was pretty good. I had one.
I'm gonna be in some hot water for this.
Yeah,
I feel like
this is rough.
not good.
Can I bring up my last thing? It's actually during that scene.
Sure.
So when they're walking by, and I know we're setting up the memorial.
Also, not enough Red Wing in this episode.
Well, he's dead again.
Rip
for the
Red Wing the
fourth. Lauren,
how many Red Wings does he have?
Yeah, wait, Lauren, did you know that 3 Red Wings have died in the movies up before the show, and they all happened at once?
And yeah, in one movie. In
There's a moment during the Wakanda battle where Falcon fires 3 Red Wings into like monsters, and they just get destroyed inside.
Yo, suicide bombers.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But here's my point. I know that it was a moment that was being used to set up that we're going to the memorial later and stuff. But the moment where Zemo says to them, he's like, "I bet you haven't even visited the memorial," and it's like neither of the people you're talking to
were there.
had anything to do with what
I thought that
That's
as well.
true.
Yeah.
Like, one of them's not even an event. Like why are you mad at these guys?
Right.
Wait,
yeah,
Falcon
I'm 100%
was
on your page with that.
Falcon was there, right? Like
No, he
No,
wasn't.
he wasn't. War
Falcon
Machine,
wasn't there.
War Machine was there.
Yeah, War Machine and the original Avengers were there.
Falcon is at the party.
Yeah, he was
That's
at
right. I knew he was at the
going to a
party.
party, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I could have sworn he was there. I'm
No.
just
Nah,
stupid.
he wasn't
It
there.
was War Machine showed up with the helicarrier, but not Falcon.
I
Unpopular
would
opinion.
call Age of Ultron one of the most forgettable Marvel movies, but
I was
Yeah.
that
about to
might
say
just be
unpopular opinion. Age of Ultron's a good movie.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay,
oh.
you each have 30 seconds for arguments, and then I will decide the answer.
James Spader Ultron is a lot of fun, and that's about it. That's all I got for
Do you
you.
yield your
I think the action is, other than the one Captain America thing that doesn't make any physical sense at all. I think the action scenes are great, and I love the introduction of Vision.
Okay, Lauren,
There is no way on God's
You're a Hawkeye
earth
fan.
that this.
Hey,
yes. Okay,
let her have her
look,
time, sir.
You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, Hawkeye gets a good arc in that movie, which he's actually important in that, which is great and I like. But there is no way on God's earth that this Ultron could be as good as the Ultron from season 2 of Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Fuck yeah, dude.
There is no way he was going to live up to that.
My one last thing is, so Malcolm Spellman, who's the showrunner, talked about how there is a character reveal in episode 5 that it's quite earth-shattering, apparently. Mm-hmm. I don't think he specifies really whether it's someone we've seen before or if it is a new character.
Is it
but
Evan
said
Peters?
It's a very grounded character that he would love to see interact with sort of one of our more cosmic world-breaker-y characters like Thor. And so let's just toss out a name or two before we wrap up here.
Okay.
I'm
A
gonna throw
grounded character.
A grounded character who we may or may not have seen before, but who hasn't teamed up with like cosmic folk.
right.
Okay.
I am gonna throw out 2 names of people that we actually haven't seen yet, but in the original slate we would have already seen them.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Yelena Belova is one,
Okay. Yeah.
and my other one is Taskmaster.
So both from the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, those are 2 thoughts that I have of possibilities.
Interesting. Would they do that? Because this was supposed to come out after Black Widow, right?
Right. So like this could be
Oh, but could they? Oh,
but you
whoa.
could sort of switch around the story possibly. I do know. I'm pretty sure that Yelena Belova is going to show up in this show.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll be? I wonder how they'll resolve that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's a person you haven't seen before who's having a fun cameo that you don't understand.
I doubt it's either of them, but I just want to see Taskmaster. I want Taskmaster.
I'm very excited for some Taskmaster.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on every single Marvel character that exists.
Are there any Marvel characters?
in the universe?
Okay. All right. Well, okay. This kind of also comes into the thing that annoyed me. It didn't anger me or anything, but like the fact that when 13 is fighting all of those like Madripoor assassins, while they're like in the shipping crate town,
Literally, yeah.
shipping town, they're all just boring people with guns and knives.
Right.
I think that you're in Madripoor. Why not just throw a bunch of like F-list like random Marvel mercenary people in there? Somebody who's got like a whip, or somebody who's got like
the equivalent of arm fall off boy.
Yeah, a bunch of arm fall off boys. Like, and just get like, get somebody, throw in a couple people who could be mutants, somebody shooting fire or whatever.
I heard that Omega Red might be in this show.
That's exciting. Honestly, that might be it. Is
Could
Omega
be,
Red?
yeah.
But I think Elektra would be fun. We talked about her at the top of this episode. And I think
you said
that
Electro. I was
no.
like,
Jamie Foxx, the most grounded
I'm
character
Electro.
of all.
I would also go for someone from one of the shows, either like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character.
Oh, that would be great.
Or,
I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or a Netflix. I don't know. I don't know if those are in high regard enough at Disney in order.
Yeah.
What
if it's just Patton Oswalt?
I know that the scene
from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I know that the scene was shot in a courthouse turned museum.
Oh, okay.
I should have mentioned that.
That's so important.
wait, a courthouse, like, it's a courthouse in the show, or
it's a courthouse that's now
show?
a museum.
It is it was a courthouse in real life that was turned into a museum in real life, and it's in DeKalb County near Atlanta.
I mean, the obvious thing that makes you think is Daredevil.
Yeah,
right.
But turned museum.
I mean,
he's
Daredevil
there for
would be
sure,
interesting.
saving him for Spider-Man 3. If he
I don't think
is
you'd
being
reveal him in
introduced.
this.
If anything, I would want him to show up in She-Hulk.
What if it's Patriot, Elijah Bradley? Because we have
That we've met him.
Yeah, we've
so
met
far.
him.
I don't know if they do that.
I think you'll see Isaiah again.
He's also not. I don't think he's like an earth-shattering enough.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
Like character, you know.
They should learn not to say earth-shattering.
I agree.
anymore.
Yeah,
'Cause
this is what happened with Paul Bettany.
Yeah, 'cause
okay,
we-
when he was
That was
like,
Paul Bettany's fault, though.
That is his. He got an angry call from Kevin Feige. You know he did.
There are 100% going to be people online, probably already are,
Screaming about this.
It's Wolverine. It's fucking Wolverine, bro. And
I think it should just be Evan Peters again. Like I think they should just
as
bring
Ralph
him-
Boner or as a different guy with a dick joke for a last
I
name?
think
Yeah.
just
Ronald
just
Cohn.
or just bring back like. Or just bring back like Aaron Taylor Johnson or something. Like just put him in there for no reason.
Put Patrick Stewart in.
Yeah.
But he's playing Aaron Cohn. That's his name.
I don't know who to put my bets on.
I'm going to say that it's not going to be anyone that we just mentioned, and is probably not going to be someone that's as exciting as we think it is.
Yeah. I mean,
It
I
is
think it'd be
100%
cool,
not going
whatever
to
it
be.
Yeah,
is.
I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be someone who we would never consider and is just a fun time.
What if
Do you
it's
think
White
it could
Vision?
be? Do you think Monica Rambeau could come back?
That could
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's Fury.
Yeah, I would put money on Fury.
That's my
possibly
guess.
showing
It's
up.
going to be Fury.
Some people think it could be Old Man
Boring.
Cap.
Oh my gosh.
I think a mixed bag, the most mixed bag of an episode so far, but I'm still really enjoying the show.
But really high highs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Sharon Carter action.
It was pretty
10
cool.
out of 10.
They're really good.
That was
wild that Peggy Carter's niece hates Captain America.
Yeah, wild.
I like it. It's cool.
Well, she
it.
kills him. She's brainwashed, but she did kill him.
Oh yeah, in the comics. Yeah. Let's not get it.
Well, so thank you for listening to this episode of Comic Breakers. Please be sure to give us a like, a rate, a subscribe. Give us a comment.
Yeah. Hit the bell. No one really
bell.
knows what it does.
Smash the subscribe button. And thank you for Lauren for joining us. I'm sure we're gonna love having you back. Hopefully soon.
No, she can never come
Oh,
back.
so
yeah,
sorry,
you
my
did
one
say
time. Yeah, sorry,
yeah.
one ticket.
But
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
take up the shield, boys.